2 years ago, I made a list, 5 names. People I talk to almost every single day, and I cut every one of them off. No big fight, no drama, I just stopped. And in the next 18 months, my income went from barely covering rent to more than tripling. Now, before you think this is some ditch your friends, become a millionaire nonsense, it's not about that. It's about something nobody talks about when they talk about money. Who you spend your time with is basically a financial decision. You just don't see the bill until years later. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly who I cut, why, what happened after, and how you can figure out if you've got your own version of the 5 without blowing up your whole life to find out. Let's get into it. A few years back, I was making okay money. Not bad, not great. Comfortable enough to go out, order takeout, buy stuff I didn't need, and still feel like I was doing fine. But every time I tried to actually build something, start a side hustle, save aggressively, learn a new skill, it would die within a couple weeks. I'd start strong and then nothing. Back to square one. For a long time, I blamed myself. Lack of discipline, bad habits. Maybe I just wasn't built for ambition. Then one weekend, I actually tracked my time for 7 days, every hour, just to see where it went. And what I found genuinely shocked me. It wasn't Netflix, it wasn't scrolling, it was people, specific people. Conversations, hangouts, calls, group chats, all eating hours of my week. And almost all of it was with the same 5 names. That's when I started paying attention to a pattern that changed everything. I'm not going to use real names, obviously, but I'll describe each one because I guarantee you know someone just like them. Person 1, the constant complainer. Every conversation with this person was about how unfair everything was. Their job sucked, their boss was an idiot, the economy was rigged, nothing ever worked out for them. And here's the thing. After every single call, I felt drained, not inspired, drained. I didn't realize it at the time, but spending an hour a day marinating in someone else's hopelessness was quietly convincing me that trying harder was pointless too. Person 2, the why bother friend. This one was sneakier. Whenever I mentioned an idea, a side hustle, a course, a new skill, this friend had a reason it wouldn't work. Not in a mean way, in a just looking out for you way. Isn't that market saturated already? Don't you need money to start something like that? I tried something similar once. It's not worth it. Every idea got quietly talked down before it even had a chance to breathe. Person 3, the spender. Every hangout with this person cost money. Dinner out, drinks, last-minute trips, treat yourself energy 24/7. Nothing wrong with enjoying life, but my version of enjoying life with this person was basically a recurring subscription I never agreed to. Person 4, the time vampire. This one didn't drain my wallet, they drained my hours. Long calls about nothing. Texting back and forth for hours a day. Random, can you help me with this? Favors that turned into 2-hour detours from my day, multiple times a week. Person 5, the mirror. This is the big one. This person had basically the same goals as me, wanted to build something, wanted more income, wanted to get serious. But somehow, every time we talked about it, we just talked about it. Planned, theorized, made spreadsheets, and never actually did the thing. We were comfort blankets for each other's excuses. I want to be really clear here. I didn't send dramatic "I'm cutting you off" texts. I didn't ghost anyone out of nowhere. What actually happened was much quieter. I just started saying no more often. I stopped initiating as much. I let calls go to voicemail sometimes. I picked one night a week to actually be unreachable. And here's what filled that space. The hours came back first. I was suddenly sitting on 10 to 15 extra hours a week. That's basically a part-time job's worth of time, just sitting there, waiting to be used. The mental noise went quiet. No more daily doses of "this is unfair" or "that won't work." My own thoughts had room to actually form. Ideas started sticking around longer than 2 days. I started a small side project and finished it. I won't bore you with the details, but it was something I'd talked about for almost a year and never touched. Within 3 weeks of cutting back on those 5 people, I had a working version of it online. Then the money side started moving. This part took longer, a few months, not days. But that side project grew. I reinvested the extra time into learning skills I'd been meaning to get to for years. I picked up freelance work I never had the bandwidth for before, and slowly, income from multiple directions started stacking on top of each other. By the end of year 1, my monthly income had roughly doubled. By month 18, it had tripled from where I started. And I want to be honest, it wasn't because I stopped hanging out with those people. It was because stopping freed up the time, energy, and mental space I needed to actually build the things that grew my income. The relationships were the leak. Fixing the leak let the tank fill up. Yeah, honestly, yes. For a while, it felt like I was being a bad friend. Like I was too good for people now. Or like I'd changed and become someone colder. But here's the reframe that helped me. I wasn't cutting people off because they were bad people. Most of them were genuinely nice. The issue wasn't their character. It was the pattern our relationship had settled into. Years of daily complaining, daily spending, daily distraction had become the default setting, and neither of us had ever questioned it. Some of these relationships actually got better with distance, less daily contact. But when we did talk, it was more genuine, because it wasn't just filling time anymore. A couple of them faded out completely, and honestly, that told me something too. If a relationship can't survive you having less time for casual hangouts, it probably wasn't built on much to begin with. You don't need to do anything drastic. Here's the actual exercise, step by step. Step 1, track your week. For 7 days, write down who you talk to, for how long, and how you feel afterward. Energized, neutral, or drained. Be brutally honest. Nobody sees this list but you. Step 2. Look for patterns, not people. Don't ask who is a bad person. Ask which conversations leave me feeling smaller, more doubtful, or more broke than before. That's the real signal. Step 3. Don't cut. Adjust. You don't need to end relationships. Just change the frequency and the context. Maybe you see the spender once a month instead of every weekend. Maybe you stop being the default person the time vampire calls when they're bored. Step 4. Protect the time you get back, immediately. This is the step almost everyone skips. If you free up 10 hours a week and just fill it with more scrolling, nothing changes. The second that time opens up, plug it into something. A course, a side hustle, a skill, a project you've been meaning to start. Step 5. Watch what happens over 90 days, not overnight. Give it 3 months. That's roughly how long it took me to notice a real shift. Not in my bank account yet, but in my focus, my energy, and the ideas I was actually finishing instead of just talking about. Look, I'm not telling you your friends are the enemy. Most people aren't toxic. They're just familiar. And familiar is comfortable, even when it's quietly costing you. The biggest financial move I ever made wasn't a stock, a side hustle, or a budgeting app. It was deciding who got access to my time, my attention, and my energy every single day. If this hit home for you, drop a comment with what your 5 might look like. I read every single one. And honestly, half of my video ideas come from your stories. And if you want the next step, how I actually use those extra hours to build multiple income streams from scratch, that video's linked right here. I'll see you in the next one.